Hi everyone, happy weekend. Welcome to Conversations with MM. This is Marivir Montebon here in New York City. It's getting cold, so mag-sweater na mo. And I feel like this autumn, this particular week, it feels like winter already. Oh my gosh. And also, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that elections are coming up in a few weeks, in a few days. So mga Filipinos, mga PhilAms, get ready and be engaged. Go out and vote. Early voting or on the actual day on November 5, go out, go to your precincts and vote. Because I'm very concerned. I just attended a forum um, last weekend. It's organized by the Filipino American Legal Defense Fund and the NAFA, the National Association, I don't know how to, this is so long. NAFA is National Asian American uh, Association in the US, in America, so NAFA. They organized a Know Your Rights forum. It debuted last Saturday at B Cafe in Woodside. Woodside is the most populous area where Filipinos live in Queens, in New York City. So the speaker, Rochelle Perez, she is the chairperson of the National Federation of Filipino American Associations. There you go, NAFA, New York. She expressed concern about the consistent low voter turnout of Filipinos in elections. Can you imagine? Only 10% of registered Filipino Americans go out to vote during elections. This means that we still don't have a voice or representation, unlike our Asian counterparts. So we have to go out and vote. We have to be engaged. You know, we are the third largest Asian demographic. The first now is the Indians, and followed by the Chinese, and then the third are Filipinos. But yet we don't do our responsibility in public life. We usually don't go out to vote. We don't even register, even if we are U.S. citizens. So change that and be an active part of local and national politics in the U.S. because that is where you get your budget, your support for education, for health, for your voices, what legislation you want to be passed so that the welfare of your community um, is protected and insured. So go ahead and make a plan. So also during that forum, it's a good thing to have the founder of FALDEF. In the middle is former mayor of Bergenfield, New Jersey, Mayor Robert Rivas. He is the first PhilAm to win a political seat in Bergenfield. And we also have Attorney J.T. Malonga on the right, and on the left, and Ambassador Mario de Leon on the left for during the forum. So that was a very engaging event, ladies and gentlemen, at the B Cafe. So I hope you would make plans and schedule really going to the precincts and doing your due diligence to vote this coming elections. And for this episode, we have a pre-recorded podcast, which I did with my colleague Christina DC Pastor with Women and Media. We had a conversation with attorney Licelle Cobrador. She is the executive director of FALDEF, and she is also an immigration lawyer here in New York City. And we discussed about immigration issues, which is always a hot topic, which is a burning issue, and which we always should have conversations about because immigration is complex and it affects every one of us. So let's take a listen to this. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to Women and Media. And with me is my partner in crime. Finally, I've seen her. Online, that is. Hello,
Hi,
Christina.
Marivir.
Kumusta? How's life?
Oh, life is a series of challenges, but we get past them.
Thank you. Thank God. So, Krian, tell us about our guest for
Oh, yeah.
this
Today
episode of
we are so
ours, our rare
honored to have
episode.
we are honored to have as our guest,
Mhm.
immigration and human rights lawyer Licelle Cobrador. Licelle has been named as one of the 10 top Marinol alumni. But she obtained her law degree from the Ateneo de Manila University. She also pursued further studies on intellectual property law at Benjamin Cardozo School of Law while working as a clerk in New York law firms. Licelle established the Cobrador and Associates PLLC initially in 2017, right, Licelle?
Correct.
And the first office was in Long Island City, Queens. In 2021, she went big time. She opened her Manhattan office.
Yeah.
What a remarkable journey. Welcome to Women in Media, Licelle.
Thank you, Krian and Marivir. So nice to finally be in your
Oh my
podcast.
God.
Oh,
Thank you for
yes.
having us in your office. Christina,
Yeah.
I am at the Manhattan office of Attorney Cobrador. And you know that, of course. The people don't know. So thank you for having us. Tell us about your program, Lizelle, on FALDEF.
Okay, so FALDEF, it's Filipino American Legal Defense and Education Fund.
Mm-hmm.
I am its executive director, and our programming will start this October 12th.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm.
Know Your Rights series,
Uh-huh.
actually.
Wow.
So
Timely.
yes, this Saturday it'll be on voters' rights,
Mm-hmm.
and we have co-sponsors like Filipino American Lawyers Association of New York and
Mm-hmm.
We
Mhm.
Cafe of, and also we have um, other partner organizations that we're speaking to that will also co-sponsor our succeeding events. So it's
Mhm.
exciting because the next one after in November, it'll be about a pathway to citizenship, so rights of the undocumented.
Mm-hmm.
There's also asylum, DACA, what happened to the DACA
Mhm.
recipients.
Yeah.
And there's also, um, we have a speaker for that who's
Mm-hmm.
not an immigration attorney. He's actually a personal injury lawyer
Mm-hmm.
who
Mhm.
will discuss, like, if you're undocumented, you can still file personal injury cases if you've been unfortunately a victim.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't impede you from filing. But he will discuss it further during the Know Your Rights session.
Yeah.
We are going to hold the one on Saturday at B Cafe. It's in
Mm-hmm. On
Woodside.
Mhm.
Woodside.
It's in Little Manila, and it'll be at 5 p.m. It's open to the public. So the next ones we don't know yet, and we will
Mm-hmm.
keep you
Yeah.
guys posted. And the other, it's really exciting because there's
Yeah.
also an event on anti-Asian hate crimes.
Mhm.
And there's also an event on workers' rights, the New York labor law updates.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
have exciting speakers who will be there. And of course, Marivir will also be part of the immigration panel. The last
Oh,
session of the Know Your Rights series would be
wow. That's so
immigration
nice.
panel that will discuss VAWA. It'll also discuss human trafficking, and it'll
Mhm.
discuss um, an employment based visa primer. So
Mm-hmm.
people who are interested in knowing details on the student visa, details on the trainee visa, or popularly known as the J visa, should
Mhm.
attend this last Know Your Rights event.
What is the month?
Yeah.
The last of the
The last
series?
one will be in March.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So, Licelle, when did you become executive director?
We held our elections last year, late last year, but I've been a vice president and executive director for some time now. I don't even
Okay.
remember.
Yeah. FALDEF is I'm a fan of FALDEF because of the programs that you used to do. Remember when Merit and JT were there?
Mm-hmm.
You did a lot of free legal advice, and you represented Filipino immigrants in detention centers. There was a lot of those activities, and um, you had a lot of legal clinics. Will you be continuing with those kinds of programs too?
We intend to. We are the only Filipino American legal clinic that exists in the US.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
we intend to like rebrand ourselves and be more visible in the coming
Yeah.
months. So Q4 is very busy, and until spring we will be very busy. But our 2025 programming will definitely involve legal clinics. That's what
Mhm.
we are most known for.
How
Yeah.
is your advocacy work with FALDEF and your practice as a lawyer?
So I work in the immigration space, and
Yeah.
that's a natural component for me,
Mm-hmm.
being public facing in terms of advocating for immigrants' rights.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also a volunteer attorney for Migrant Center, so that's
Mhm.
really
The one with Father Julian?
correct.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's really second nature to me. I try to have um, a business focus because our firm focuses on extraordinary ability visas and
That's what I know. Yeah.
employment visas, but there's also a humanitarian focus because we also select we have select asylum cases,
Mm-hmm.
and they are from the clients would be from South Asia, even Afghanistan. We do pro
Mhm.
bono work for some select clients.
Mm-hmm.
And for the migrant center, we have like very, very low bono rates and sometimes pro bono. So
Yeah.
it's really a natural component of our practice.
Yeah.
See.
So, Lisel, who was the executive director before you? I think I missed that portion of
So
your history.
I'm the only executive director. There was not any before. So there's just the
Uh-huh.
president and the vice president and the chairman of the
Oh,
board
Mm-hmm.
it's a
and
new position.
treasurer, secretary. Correct.
So, is that unusual that they created? Did they create a position for you, or
Oh
how
no, a
does that
lot of
work?
nonprofits have the ED, the executive
Oh,
director
okay.
position.
All right. Do you feel like you have big shoes to fill?
I feel like now that we are ramping up programming, it's a lot of work. It's like a second job. So
Yeah.
we really are encouraging other attorneys, and it's not really restricted to just attorneys.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to volunteer is welcome.
Yeah, that's right. I remember FALDEF having a lot of volunteers that are not really, they do not really have a legal background, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Wow.
correct.
I'd ask you about the volunteers' rights, voters' rights, I mean. So, what is the main thing to do up in this upcoming election, as far as voters are concerned?
Well, for this upcoming event, we would just encourage people really to
Mhm.
register,
Mhm.
and we will be discussing eligibility. We will also be discussing why it's really important to have our voice heard,
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
because it's really crucial for every American, and it's our economic rights, our
Mhm.
everything is at stake. So just that would be the main thrust of our event.
Yeah.
Also, we want to emphasize that we won't really be having any political leanings or activities.
Mhm.
A
Correct.
nonprofit as a
Mhm.
nonprofit, and our grant really does not allow that.
Yeah. What is the biggest immigration issue confronting Filipino Americans right now?
I feel like it's still having a lot of undocumented Filipinos
Mhm.
and having them. Um, there was the family reunification that was
Mhm.
started in August, but that was quickly taken away.
Mhm.
The people who've applied will be in limbo for some time until they resolve the
Oh,
issues
yeah.
surrounding that. And if you
Mhm.
were lucky to have been granted the benefit when you applied in August, then great. But if you are part of the unlucky roster that will be in limbo, I'm really, I feel for you. I wish that there was a pathway for those that entered through the border but are married to U.S. citizens, and
Mhm.
unfortunately,
No, right?
that was the
That's right.
avenue.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
apart from having that the waiver is just so hard. Not everybody will meet that requirement of extreme hardship. That's very hard to actually satisfy.
I have a
Yeah.
question for the going back to the voters' rights attorney. There's this on prevalent, information or disinformation in social media that the people who have no papers are encouraged to vote. How can that happen? As a lawyer, would you be able to assure the public that that's not happening, or is it?
You cannot even get a registration form.
Yeah, I think that's
You
I
don't
think
have citizenship. So
that sounds like
that's
fake.
you're not eligible, first of all.
This is just a segue to like how immigrants are being demonized,
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
And
You know what?
you cannot.
One issue I'd like to listen to, if you have a forum on this, is the border issue. It's something that I cannot understand. Why there would be a surge in of immigrants at the border, and how come the government appears to be helpless against it? Are you
Right,
doing
so
something?
this is
education program for that?
That's very timely because our November Know Your Rights event will focus on pathways to citizenship, and that will also have an asylum component. So
Okay.
I'm sure our attorney speaker for that will be discussing. Actually, it's JT Malyonga.
Oh, really?
He's slated to discuss the rights of the undocumented, and I will also be talking a little bit about the asylum component.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
So, what are the rates of deportations? Are we still seeing a lot of deportations?
There's a lot, actually. There's a lot, and the Biden administration right now has proclaimed, I would say, once you enter and you did not express that you are an asylum seeker, you could be immediately turned away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I have a question. How does
Go ahead.
how does one prove that she is a viable candidate for asylum?
There's something
Right on the
called
border.
there's something called credible fear interview, and the asylum officers would be
At the border.
determining that credible fear issue. So they have searching questions that they will ask anybody who represents that he or she is applying for that humanitarian relief.
So the immigrant can ask for a lawyer at the border?
No, well, the lawyer will be for his account.
Oh,
And the government will not pay for that lawyer.
I see.
So if there are volunteer attorneys that he or she would have access to, then they're welcome to represent him. Otherwise, he or she would be representing herself or himself.
Wow, that's very tough, isn't it?
Yes.
Are there Filipinos who volunteer as lawyers at the border?
I think there are certain bar administrations, bar organizations, bar associations. I think there are immigration clinics who send volunteers out, but I don't really personally know them.
Okay, right, yeah.
So as an immigration lawyer, Attorney Licelle, what is the toughest case that you have handled?
Oh, okay. So I'd say sometime in 2017, I was still with another firm. I handled an asylum case that involved 5 people, and the hearing involved 5 asylum seekers. They were all part of the same family.
Okay.
We were in court until 8:30 in the evening from 10 in the morning.
Oh, wow. Why?
Everybody had to testify, of course.
I see.
They were all cross-examined. Everybody got granted.
Wow.
How did that turn out?
Everybody got granted.
Oh,
Wow,
okay,
congratulations. What year was this?
Sometime in 2017.
Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was really rough. Just, it was so high stress, and the people were, preparing our clients and the documentation for that. The judge was a tough judge, by the way. She was very meticulous. But in the end, she granted that case.
Yeah. So, Licelle, tell us about yourself. I know there's a lot of legal cases that you handle, but how do you take care of yourself? Or how do you decompress and uh, think of things other than legal issues?
That's a great question, actually. So I try to really have my weekends to myself,
Mm-hmm.
um, and not work on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I still have to, just because I have a boutique firm and like
Yeah.
you really need to work a lot. But I
Mhm.
try to, you know, do some yoga, meditation,
Oh, you
and
do.
I'm
That's
Nice.
good.
always in touch with family on weekends. So I call
Mhm.
my family from back home, and we all are in a video call. So that really grounds me.
Nice.
And
Mhm.
of course, I have a spiritual life. I wouldn't say that I regularly attend mass, but
Mhm.
I have that spiritual life.
Great. You mean family in the Philippines?
They are all in the Philippines.
I see. How nice. So
Yeah.
that's like maybe life balance kind of act, right?
Yeah.
So
So,
do
but
you
the
go
the
great?
bulk of your cases are really individuals with extraordinary abilities, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So
So,
these
what do you
are
think? What do you think of that kind of focus? Are there a lot of Filipinos that try to aspire for a visa of that nature?
There are a lot of Filipinos, but I would say we don't have majority Filipino clients. Maybe it's
Oh.
about 25 to 30%.
Oh. Okay.
We
Hmm.
have a lot of South Asian clients and a lot of European
Yeah, I
clients.
know. Hmm.
The exciting thing about doing extraordinary ability visas, you need to really know the person's credentials, industry
Yeah.
very intimately in order to
Hmm.
present that person to the US government and say
Hmm.
this person is indeed extraordinary.
which is
Yeah, that's
for
right.
attorney? Is it working on an asylum case or the extraordinary ability people?
They're very different, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
asylum is tougher just because it's taking longer.
Mm.
And of course, there's so much at stake because if it doesn't get granted, they are left without any
Yeah.
status.
So sad, right?
The extraordinary ability individual could just go back to their home country or apply for a
Go somewhere
non-immigrant
else.
visa or something else, you
So
know?
therefore, what happens if the people applying for asylum are denied? Where do they go?
They will be undocumented because they would
They
already
will,
have unlawful presence
right. So they will choose.
unless people
Oh
are single
gosh.
and they get married. But
Uh-huh.
yes.
Oh,
Oh,
That's still
if they
that's
enter
still the
through the
easiest way,
border,
right?
and if they entered through the border, then
really
adjusting and getting the
is
green card will
is
be
impossible.
next to impossible.
Well,
Oh,
Lisel, getting married is kind of the easiest way out, right?
If they entered through, if they were admitted and inspected, if they had a non-immigrant visa.
mm.
Uh,
But most of the asylum seekers, if they enter through the border, then
it
It's
wouldn't
almost
be
like
it wouldn't work.
kind of idea
well, that's a
that
different
mode,
visa designation, right? And they
Mhm.
also cannot adjust.
right?
Um,
But
but if they
essentially,
file for asylum and they have that type of visa, then that would be the relief for them, right?
wow.
Can you share with us, Lisel, a memorable story where one of your clients was approved and how he or she reacted in an emotional, joyous, celebratory way, and how you were part of that experience?
Okay, so the most recent one would be a client in the tech space. So that client also had an H-1B. That client also had a wife who had an employment-based petition, but
Mm-hmm.
that's taking a long time because the wife is also on a work visa, but the company that sponsored her, there's some turmoil in the company, you
Mhm.
know, and there's like, so it was really important for the husband to get his extraordinary ability visa
Uh-huh.
and in record time, because
Yeah.
they also have aging parents, and the parents have,
Um,
you know, there's some problems that they really want to attend to, and you know, things like that happening in their
yeah.
lives. And we got the extraordinary ability visa done in record time. Like the wife
Uh-huh.
didn't need to return to the Philippines, and
Oh.
she immediately got the work permit, and not just the work permit, but the actual green card within, I
Oh.
would say, 4 months. Normally, it should take about a year.
Wow.
So they were ecstatic.
Wow. What
What
why was
happened? How did they get it so
it
soon?
expedited?
We
Yeah.
cannot really figure out the rhyme or reason for that, because
Really?
there's really no like logic to that. You can't
Mhm.
really tell a client that it'll happen for you in 4 months. It'll happen for you in a year. But we give them like the industry standard, or what's the
Mhm.
visa processing that's published online, so that
Mhm.
we can manage expectations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That otherwise, you know, that's the way, that's the only way you can manage clients' expectations. If you tell them it's coming in 3 months and it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
you'll have a problem.
Oh man.
So I'm sure they were so happy and grateful to you. How did they express their gratitude?
I mean, it's really, it's not just me, of course. It's a team effort. Our
Yeah.
firm really worked so hard to
Mhm.
have it done. We had our legal assistant, our
Mhm.
legal director. She was on top of things,
Mhm.
managing. Like, of course, there's always all these calls. There's
Yeah.
always so
Yeah.
many questions about each and every step.
Mhm.
And once they got the visa, they sent us like a whole, oh, you know, Filipinos love to send gifts. They sent like a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
like a food basket with the wine, with the cheese, with everything.
Oh my
And our
God. We
our
missed
team
that,
was
our
so
dear.
surprised to get it. Like we didn't expect anything, of course, because
Yeah.
it's our job.
Mhm.
But it arrived like, what is this? And it was like a huge thing. It was like in a huge box, and we
Mhm.
were just, oh, okay, so I guess they were really happy with that.
Makes me feel good too, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So to wrap up, I would like to ask attorney, how does FALDEF and your office look like in the interim 5 years, for example, or 2 years?
Well, I'm really excited. They are two different entities, of course, but for our firm, we are growing.
Mhm.
We hired a new law clerk, and we're hoping to serve more clients, of course. And we now have a liaison office in Kathmandu as well. So
Oh, really? That's interesting.
International.
yes,
Yeah.
and we're hoping to expand more,
Yeah.
have our footprint in other countries as well.
Wow.
And
Right. Yeah.
for FALDEF,
Yeah.
this programming will continue, hopefully,
Mhm.
from not just Q4 of 2024, but
Mhm.
the coming years.
When will your term end, Licelle?
I think I might
How many
resign.
years?
I'm kidding. No, it's a lot of work, and
She's announcing it.
I'm so overwhelmed with the work, but I'm excited. I think I'd spend a year or two more as executive
Okay.
director.
Wow.
Okay, great,
All the
great.
best to you and to your team.
All the best, yeah, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Lizelle. So, Krian, that's it for our WAM today.
I know.
It's good to see
It's
you
so deep
there.
in.
We will see each other, have lunch and
Okay.
coffee. So, until the
All
next
right.
episode, bye for now. Thank you, Attorney Lizelle.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay, I had fun in that conversation with Attorney Lizelle Cobrador. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot as well in that very short conversation on immigration and the issues surrounding immigration that affect us Filipinos here in the US. So I would like to reiterate my call, as well as the call of nonprofits here, that on November, please go out and vote, especially Filipinos. Please be heard, please be seen. We are the third largest Asian demographic in the US. So our voice can create a difference in providing welfare and ensuring the rights of our generations to come and of ourselves. So remember that. So I'd like to say thank you once again to our guests and women in media. We are using this platform to have further conversation. And I really very much appreciate the presence of my colleague, Christina DC Pastor, when it comes to conversation, because it becomes more vibrant and more expansive, mas malawak ang aming uh, conversation when there are two people having an exchange of ideas, an exchange of questions. So I hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. Please take care of yourselves and take care of each other. See you again in our future episodes. Bye for now.